Eyes down for Good morning, people. It's not Monday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday at 12:30. And after a lot of angle grinding and cutting and removing welds, I've got the first bolt out. Good job I've ordered some more, really, isn't it? I've ordered 4. I mean, these are knackered. I've ordered 4 new bolts, so there you go. So, just that one to get out, and that's the least difficult one, so I'm expecting that will come out fairly easily now. But what a job. This bit here, I now realise, he said, stopping the bolt, this bit here is off the original mudguard, right? And the 2 square tubes that come down the mudguard, the reinforcers, weld onto here, right? They pick up onto there. So I'm going to have to either repair these or make some more and reuse them, but that ain't a problem because they're I've got the shape there. There you go. Right, I'm going to crack on and see if I can get this this other bolt out, which I will do eventually. It was cold in here this morning, even though when you step outside it feels really warm. But it was wet and miserable. It stopped raining now. So what I'll probably do is I'll just let the fire go out. Because it's lovely and warm in here now. It's really warmed up in here. No end. I've got some nice ash on there. And as you can see, that's just the air that's being pumped into the workshop. Is just over 70 degrees. So lovely. Bit too warm actually when you're slogging away with hammers. Right, I'm on the second bolt. I'll bring you back when it's out. Bye now. Here we are, folks. A little bit of friendly persuasion with the lump hammer and it came out. Thank God we've got that bugger off. Right. Well, now I'm going to take that footboard off so that when the brake cables arrive, which I believe they are arriving today between 11 and 1, so they may already be here, I'll be able to change both brake cables, bang the footboard straight, put some blue paint on them and put it all back together. But I want to get the rest of it, when the footboards are off, I want to get the rest of it cleaned up and painted. But one of the things I have to do here, which I maybe haven't told you about yet, is these 4, 2 there and 2 there, and the same at the other side, see those there, are for the safety bar, the roll bar that goes over your head. And I happen to have one of those, so I'm going to, at some point in the very near future, get hold of it and fit it. I'm going to have to clean the threads out, obviously, because some of those have been open for donkey's years. Clean the threads out. I have got the taps and dies to do it with, and then fit it and paint it. And there may be some repairs what I'm doing on it, because I noticed some of the pivot brackets are very thin, and I'll probably just cut those off and weld new ones on. But there we go. We'll see in a minute. I may go out there and fetch it in. Right. I think it's time, after all that sweat, for a cup of tea. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, and I'll bring you back when there's something more to show you. Bye now. And there we are, folks. Nearly 3 o'clock, and it's all in pieces. And that shaft pulls straight through the gearbox, so I can maybe take that off as well. I've got most of the muck off it, got all the seized up bolts off it, and I'm now ready for a wire brush down and get ready for some paint. The brake cable at this side, as you can see, is rather beyond the pale. In fact, it's snapping as we speak, isn't it? It's just falling to pieces. Look at that. Right, and the one at this side, he said walking around the tractor, the one at this side was snapped, and I couldn't find at that time where to get one from. and so I made one up with a piece of heavy cable by bending it round. I welded a loop, welded a little U-bolt onto the end of there as a loop, and then I bent the cable round there twice and cinched it with a couple of clamps. And I don't know what I did at the other end, but it's fixed it. It fixed it, and it's still looking solid now. It still stops it. Still stops it, he said, pointing the camera at the ground so you can't see anything. It still stops it. Take my word for it, it still stops it. But it'll be 2 new brake cables on there, and I'll have to take the drums off again to get the cable ends in. But there you go. So the next job I have to do is just to finish taking these off, and then have a scrape down and a wire brush with the big polisher with the wire brush on it, and then we're ready for some paint. But first, I'm having a bit of a sweep up because, as usual, I've made a mess. Right, I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye now. Oh, very interesting thing, all the clutch pivots, all the brake pivots, everything were rusted virtually solid. I had to heat up virtually everything to get them apart, and so it's going to work a real lot better when it goes back together again with everything free and lubricated. Right, give me back later. Bye now. Folks, that side is now cleaned down, which was a crap, horrible job. I've got loads more muck off it, look. And I'm just about to finish this side. I've just got that pedal to take off, and then I can, tomorrow morning, I can bash some primer on it. Probably a bit of red lead. I know it looks rusty, but I've wire brushed it and it won't rust through, and there is a limited amount of cleaning up you can do with this thing. I'm having to do a lot of cleaning up to it because somebody's painted it over the mud, so that comes off easily. But we'll get there. Don't want to get this in paint and start putting it back together. Start straightening out and start welding up bits. Right folks, that's about it for today. It's 4:38 and I'm going to be home for 5 o'clock. So I shall just have a tidy up and a sweep up, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Good afternoon folks, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. I was off ill yesterday. I had this recurring COVID syndrome where you go home in the evening and you start to feel fluish and you start to shiver and shake. You wake up the next morning with a thumping headache and a neck ache, and you spend the day more or less in bed with the paracetamol, and then by evening you feel alright again, and the next morning you're as right as rain. I've had this twice now, maybe even 3 times. I'm talking to other people about it today. It's very common. So, let's call it post-COVID syndrome. Right? So that's what was wrong with me yesterday. So I skived off, I didn't come in, I felt crap. But, today, I've had a good tidy up, a good sweep up, a good brush round and clean round. I've got the brake cables off because one's knackered and the other's not so knackered, but it's not a good one because I made it myself, so it's got cinch bolts on it. I've told you about this before. So we're about ready to get some primer on, I think. I'll have to probably mask that. That doesn't really matter. The fuel filter, that can be painted. The fuel filter now has a fuel filter in it. That can be painted. I think that's why it started so well, you know. Cleaning all the crap out and getting it back to rights. Right. There's 1 or 2 little things I have to do, and that's one of them. That's the hour meter, and I don't think it works. So what I'm going to have to do is when I get it running again, I'll have a look at that and see if it is working, because you can see this last digit moving, and if it isn't, just take those 2 bolts out. And I think the drive gear's strip or something, but we'll have to see if we can repair it. I do like things that work. This is a shade of all Mawson and me, Andrew Mawson and me. We can't bear things that don't work. Little things like that don't work, that mean absolutely nothing, but if they're fitted they have to be working. Terrible. It's autism, I know what it is, it's autism. My daughter's got it, I suffered from it all my life. It's nitpicking perfection to the point where you can't actually stop yourself. You know that it doesn't need to be perfect, you know it doesn't need to be beautiful paintwork, but you just can't stop yourself rubbing it down and rubbing it down. And I know I haven't done a brilliant job on this, because I have actually kicked myself into stopping and saying just get some bloody paint on it. Right folks, I'm going to carry on doing some masking up, just round little bits that I don't want paint to go on, and then I'll shoot a bit of primer on it. I'm not going to bother with any red lead, because then you have to prime over the top of the red lead, because it doesn't look good if you paint blue on top of red lead. Right, carry on. Bye now. And there we go folks, 4 o'clock, and all the repairs and bits of bare metal are blanked out with a nice bit of acrylic primer. So there we go, ready for blue, ready for blue, which maybe tomorrow. I could do with a bit more primer around there, but the problem with this acrylic primer is it's got a hardener in it. It's a 2-pack, and that's a really good thing because it means it covers well and it hardens well. But once you put it in the gun and you put the hardener in it, you've got to use it up. It's mixed, and that's it. So if you don't mix quite enough, like I did, you've got to mix another small batch. But I think we can call that it. All the important bits are blanked out. The only bits that I haven't really given a thorough coating of primer are the bits that ain't going to rust through in several millennia. So there you go. Right, so all that's just ready for blue. I think it's all ready for blue now. Bit of black paint on there, and then I'll have to paint little bits as I as I get them back from the blasters. I'm going to have to repair them, paint them and fit them. But we've turned a corner now. We've turned a corner now because we have now got to the point where we're about to start putting bits back on the tractor, not taking bits off the tractor. Right, so don't they look a lot smaller with the wheels off, back wheels off? Right, so that's what we're going to be doing now, is we're going to be putting bits back on. Right, so I won't get much more done today because this wants to harden overnight now. But there you go, she's done. She's in primer, and it looks quite nice. It's going to look good. It's going to look okay. Nice. I mean, how far do you go? I've seen people that strip these things right down, needle gun all the castings off to bare metal and then prime them and fill them and tit about with them, and at the end of the day they're cast steel. You know, this is not going to be a showroom job, this is going to be a user. Right, so I'm just going to go a bit steady with it. Right, I don't know if I'll get any more done today, but if I do I'll bring you back and show you it. Bye now. Good morning people, or should I say good afternoon. It's Friday, and there is a huge gap in the corner of the workshop. All the stuff has gone to the sandblasters. We took it this morning in the big trailer. So next job is to get a coat or two of blue paint on this, and then back home for 3 o'clock and pick the daughter up in York at 4. So there we go. So that's what I'm going to do today. But first, Keith's coming down in a minute. I'm going to fit a Volvo coil pack, and that's him done. Okay, right, anything else? Not at the moment, no. I'll bring you back when it's blue. Bye now. And there she is folks. 2 o'clock. She's got her first coat on. Now, it's a double header coat, which means it's wet on wet, but there may be some bits I've missed. Right, so what I shall do is give it some time to dry off, and I might give it another coat on Monday. Right, but basically it's in blue. It's become a Fordson. And doesn't it look well? Doesn't it just look well? Right then, I'm off now. That's it for this week. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks to all the new subscribers once again. I've noticed a strange phenomenon with new subscribers. I get a letter and I get a comment from them, but I can't answer it. And so any new subscribers in the last week or so who have sent me a comment but not received an answer, I apologise, but I can't do it. For instance, on the latest one, a chap called Will has subscribed to me, and he sent me a comment, and the comment has appeared as an email which came to me, but it hasn't appeared on on YouTube, right? Although it's told me I had 4 comments, it's now telling me that I've got 5, but only 4 of them show up. So YouTube need to get their act together a bit. Right. See you all next week, people. Bye now.